figured it out. Yes. Blown up though. Another minute to spare. I'm here. People are logging on. I got a couple requests to send out an announcement. Doing that right now. Okay, sending it out. Got some. Good morning, chat gang. Good morning. I missed all of you. Got 8 whole people in here. Super great. Like and subscribe. Smash that like button at Jackson Trago. I'm alive. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I'm gonna let people kind of trickle in because it took me a long time to get this set up. So I'm gonna give 5 minutes for people to kind of like start getting in here. And then I think that at the 5-minute mark, because I let the people that were already on the previous chat know that I was gonna be in here at 9 o'clock. I let everybody class-wide know I was gonna be in here at 9 o'clock. So I'm gonna give people about 5 minutes. What you can do is probably get out a piece of paper and your notes, any questions that you had. Some of you guys have some weird YouTube names, man. I don't even know who you are. That's fine. Okay. So we're going to begin in about 5 minutes. Just give it a second. Coker's here with me with his mini Lysol can, per Mr. Press's request. Okay, pull up my notes that I have. Was making notes and trying to set this up for good morning, good morning, good morning. I cannot help you with toilet paper. I have just enough for my family. That's fine, yeah. You guys are nuts. But I was working until about 7 last night and answering emails until about 11. I hope that I got to everybody who needed me. Please continue to email me. Preemptively, I want to let you guys know I'm not going to be in the building on Friday. I'm going to work from my house on Friday. I just have some stuff that I want to catch up on, and I want to kind of like let the weekend see what it brings and let things calm down. I'm also going to be helping with my brother because he's at home right now. Junior in high school, super unmotivated, love him to pieces. So I'm going to go help him out on Friday, but I will be available to video chat you. I will set up a video chat link or get to you if you need me. I will answer any email you have all day, and I will be at least on my school computer and doing school things like in Canvas and stuff from 7:30 in the morning until 2:45, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. Hey, it worked. Yes, it did, Mr. Lloyd. What's up? For sure. Okay. We got 2 more minutes. I'm gonna let a couple more people trickle in. People are kind of coming in. Hi, Mr. Bone. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. Tell your mom I said hello. Go ahead and get your book, just in case you have a question in an act and a scene. Go ahead and grab your notes, any questions you had. And then while I'm talking, I'll try to pause and look and see what you guys are asking in those comments. I'm going to do my best, okay? And then I want as much feedback as you can give me on the discussion board. So please, after this video, whether you watch it at 2 p.m. today because you had a lot going on, or you're with me right now, I would really love for you, Stones in a Glass House. I would really like for you to, I miss you too. Sorry, I would really like for you to go into discussion posts and type me up a couple sentences about how this worked for you. If you'd prefer your class setting instead at your class time, if that's not going to work for you, if you've got extenuating circumstances that kind of prevent you from being in that class time. So just let me know, give me some feedback on what's going on, if this mass setting was better for you. I figured it would be, especially retroactively. I have some people that are meeting with different classes at different times. I know that there's some structure and some non-structure, and we're struggling. And we could have done the Zoom app class by class, but sometimes you have to do a couple more things with that, and you have to download some things for that. Nothing that you have to pay for, but it's still a couple extra steps. I wanted to do something quick, easy that you guys have all seen. What do I do if I left my book at school? Lewis, I asked you to get a book. I had you sign one out. I'm not even gonna go there. If you left your book at school, you should have a PDF in Canvas. There should be a PDF under the Hamlet unit and modules. PDF in Hamlet unit under modules. There is a copy there. How did you read Scene 7 in Act 4 if you didn't have a book, Lewis? Act 4 quiz will go live today after this lecture. So I'm going to get through the whole lecture. I'm going to put it on Canvas, and then I'm going to put another NTI info video. So I'm going to walk you through where it is, when to turn it in, the due date, and all that, so that everybody can access it. I have a couple people that just really need those visuals to kind of get themselves through this, and I totally get it. It will be up for 24 hours. So you will have 24 hours to watch this stream, go in there and take the quiz, and submit it as an assignment, okay? And it'll go in as a Word doc. Wait, quiz? Yes, I said it multiple times that we're gonna have a quiz. Okay. All right, it is 9:06, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I've got a decent amount of people in here. So I'm just gonna start in Scene 1 of Act 4 because I would have done kind of a wrap up or let you guys watch the movie on a normal day. I cannot do that because I will get actual copyrighted and probably in lots of trouble. Overview of Scene 1. It's right after Hamlet has killed Polonius, and he has dragged his body out, and then Claudius enters into Gertrude's chamber, and she's sobbing, and she's saying, Hamlet's mad, he's mad, oh my God. And, okay, quiz, because I'm getting a question right now. I'm in a lecture right here, okay? And then in Canvas, there's going to be an assignment that pops up, Act 4 quiz. It's going to be in a Word document. You're going to take it, make your own copy. You're going to type into it. Type all your answers into it. And then you're going to upload it back into Canvas as a document, as an assignment. Good? So glad Miss G figured this out. Me too. Okay, so anyway, so Polonius was killed, and Hamlet drags him out. Gertrude's sobbing. Claudius comes in, and she tells him everything. She's like, Hamlet murdered Polonius. He's mad as the sea. I don't know what to do. And Claudius, then he goes and tells Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, go find him, go get him, and then I can't get behind Hamlet either. Not right now. He's kind of gone loony. So he takes the body, he leaves, and so Claudius is pretty paranoid and nervous at this point. He's really worried about what's to happen to him because if you remember, you can just come in. I waited a couple minutes. That's a live stream, so they're all in here right now. and she can, like, if she wants to stand off to the side, and because it cuts about right here.
So it's not streaming for everybody.
Totally fine. Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So Hamlet is stowing the body while this is happening. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are out to go find him. And the importance of this scene is that we see characteristics of Gertrude and Claudius in this moment. Hold on one second. Sorry, I'm talking pretty loud. My door was open. So we get to kind of see some characterization of Claudius and Gertrude in this moment. Gertrude is kind of sort of betrayed her son. Like, she didn't protect him. She didn't try to hide anything. She didn't try to cover anything up. She's obviously very disheveled by what's happening. And so they've set these things up. And this is also a transition scene because we couldn't have Rosencrantz and Guildenstern going and looking for Hamlet without having Claudius know. So we have that characterization and that transition into scene 2. Okay, any questions so far? What is the W for? You guys are so weird. I don't understand. Anyway, so going into scene 2, I don't think I have any questions. Cool. So scene 2, we have Rosencrantz and Guildenstern entering on Hamlet. He's stowed the body, and they're like, where is he? We want to bring him to the chapel. Remember, we have our pre-reading. This is super religious time, so they need to have that body blessed, prayed over, a proper burial, proper funeral, put into the right light so that they can pass on. And so they need to know where that body is. And who is Ben Estes? Get out of my chat, Ben Estes. You're not in my class. I don't know who Roland is. Get out of my class. So we have them going and finding that, and they say, well, if you're not going to tell us where the body is, then, okay, stop commenting W. I don't know what it is. Stop. Thank you. So we have them confronting Hamlet, and Hamlet basically says, okay, I'll go with you, whatever, sure. He's in this kind of manic state. He's still doing that backwards thing. This is the scene where he calls them a dirty little sponge. So, you just soak up everything that Claudius wants you to. You let him wring you out, and then you soak up all the glory and all of the, benefits from him. You're just a sponge. It's disgusting. And so they try to take him to Claudius, but he actually runs away. And so they go off and chase him. And so the importance of this scene is that we're furthering the understanding of how Hamlet feels about people, his trust in people. These are childhood best friends, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are. And so, the way he's treating his childhood best friends and the way that he's viewing them and trusting them, or the lack of trust, rather, that he has in them is, yes, a dirty little sponge. Somebody get Curio in here. He was the one that came up with that. So, the way that they're treating people is just not okay. And so he has this super huge kind of burden of betrayal from a lot of people. And so betrayal and what betrayal does to people can be a huge thing that you could think about and talk about. But we also see, again, even though Hamlet's kind of in this manic state and he's not all there, Conlon, you right. Even though he's not all there, he's still very quippy and does well with his words. So we know that Hamlet's quite brilliant, but he's obviously not fully there in that. Araceli, oh my God, hi! So happy to see you. Moving on to scene 3. So Hamlet, hold on one second. The Chromebooks? Yeah, I have some Chromebooks. Okay. That I never brought.
I mean, are you teaching it? I mean, interrupt you, but sorry.
Oh, you're fine. It's a live stream. It'll be. I told him it was gonna be funky.
And they're all
All of them are supposed to be in there, yes. And then I should only be missing one, but the library sent that out to
Is it
me.
fixed?
Yes.
Thank
And then
you.
it won't turn. Somebody broke it and the keys dead. And it happened when it was not in my room. I promise. Hand on the Bible. So moving on to scene 3. Does anybody have any questions for scene 2? No, we were not supposed to read Act 5. That's going to be on Friday or Monday. some of you guys, did you send out my YouTube to people that aren't in my class to help them? I hope so. So hold on one second, let me shut my door. All right, if we have no questions for Act 2, I'm going to move on to, Scene 2, Act 4, we're going to move on to Scene 3. So in Scene 3, Hamlet has made Claudius very paranoid, okay? And so we're entering in, and Claudius is standing there, Rosencrantz and trying to bring him in, and they have that conversation about, the circle of life. Remember, you say, you feed a king to a worm because worm food, dirt, they're buried. That worm is then taken to feed a fish. Fish is then taken to feed a beggar. And so we're equating that everything in this is equal. You are equated to dirt and worm. And if you remember in Act 3, when Hamlet was talking to his mom, he's talking about how worthless Claudius is and how terrible of a man he is, how he's not even a man, how dirty and awful and grimy and hellacious and just all around disgusting Claudius is as a man and as a human being, and how, how dare she should be ashamed of herself for being, with the man and being so low as to take that in as a standard. And so when we see that, we have, again, Hamlet is inserting his view on Claudius and how low Claudius is on this totem pole and how low Claudius is in general as a person, and how just because he's king doesn't mean he has a worse. He's just as worthless or as useless or as common as a beggar, as a worm, as a fish. He's going to be in the circle of life, and it won't even matter because he's going to be dirt soon. So, but we're talking about Polonius at the same time, because he's asking, where's Polonius? He says, oh, he's at supper. He's at supper? Well, I mean, he is supper. Yikes. And so we have that incredible, brilliant wordplay. It's very twisted and dark mindset of Hamlet, where he's got this kind of like very twisted humor that he's using for Polonius and his death right now. Then he kind of hints at where he might be after he says, well, you could send somebody up to heaven to look for him, or I can send you to hell to look for him, your choice. Or you can look in the lobby corridor. You'll probably smell him first, though. And, Claudius says, go find his body, go do that. So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and Hamlet and Claudius are left alone. And Claudius says that he's going to send Hamlet off to England, and Hamlet's like, great. And he's like, well, if you knew my plan, you wouldn't think it was so great. He's kind of making that foreshadowing. And when Hamlet exits, there's a count. I was like, I thought there was something on my, never mind. So when Hamlet exits to go off to find Rosencrantz and Guildenstern and leave for England, and Claudius says, oh, it's for the benefit of you and everybody around you, Claudius reveals that he has sent letters off to have Hamlet executed in England. It's really just to protect himself, his kingdom, and all this rumor mill that's going to be going along. So let me look at your comments really quick and make sure. Yes, dead dad wants revenge. Does anybody have any questions so far on Scene 3? Anybody at all? Worms are above him. Yes, Armani. Okay, so the importance of this scene, we have a couple more here because this is a more in-depth scene. We kind of see a little bit more characterization, a little bit more development in the plot itself, and like a little bit more scheming. And this, we have a little bit of dramatic irony where, Hamlet has the whole time been instinctively insinuating that things are going to happen to him, but he doesn't know definitively. And, Gertrude doesn't really know what's going to happen. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, we're not sure if they know or not, if Hamlet's correct and they're really like backstabbing and dirty, or if they're just trying to follow orders and help him. We don't know. But the dramatic irony here is that Claudius has outright told us what is supposed to happen to Hamlet when he goes off to England. And so we see the immense fear and paranoia in Claudius that he is not just going to send Hamlet off to be imprisoned or give him busy work or try to help him. But in fact, like we have such a fear of losing our throne and what we have that we're going to kill our nephew son. Sonfew. Okay, it's not as fun as Funkle. So we have this willingness to protect himself, this willingness to take another life, even if it's indirectly, which we talked about in class. If we take a life indirectly, is it still a sin? Is it still as sinful as him killing his brother? Does he still have that on his head? And so we also talked about how when he was repenting, when Hamlet caught him in Act 3, it didn't really go through and register and do what it was supposed to do because he wasn't going to give up what he had gained from that murder. He wasn't going to repent and give up all of the sinful things that he had gained. He was going to keep it. And so, we're just kind of tacking on to that. We see Hamlet kind of put Claudius in his place again verbally, and Claudius doesn't even really catch on. Claudius is confused kind of the whole time when we're talking. Hold on. I got some questions. We'll get to Fortinbras in a minute. Just hold that, Maya. We're not there yet. We're starting at the beginning of Act 4. We see Fortinbras in scene 5, I do believe. And I'll get there in just a second. He's going to Poland, yes. Hamlet has not spoken to his dad in these scenes. The last time he spoke to his dad was in his mom's chambers. If you remember that, he had killed Polonius and he was talking to his mom about how low Claudius was and how incredible his dad was. And, he's screaming at her and making her feel terrible. And his dad comes in and is like, I want to remind you what I asked you to do. I asked you to leave your mother be and, to clean her mind, to make her less sinful, to make her repent, to let God help her repent and to take care of Claudius. You're kind of getting off track here, Hamlet. And Hamlet kind of puts himself in check in that moment. Yes, you're a little too much in the sun. Of course, go use the restroom if you feel like you left anything out. You can rewatch the video. Claudius told Gertrude in the beginning of Act 4 that he was going to send Hamlet to England to protect them, and Gertrude said that's a good idea. And if you remember, even back when he and Polonius were trying to scheme against Hamlet, he was like, I'm just paranoid, I'm gonna send him to England, it's fine. And Polonius was like, well, let him talk to his mom first and let the play happen and everything. Well, that didn't go very well for Polonius. So we have that. And then, the whole time this is Claudius's idea to send him to England. Hamlet is just being snarky by saying, great, I'm going to go to England. Fantastic. Thank you. Any other questions? Stop with the letters. Any other questions before I move on? Does everybody feel good and caught up? Stop with the letters. Tell me if you're good and caught up, if I can move on. I need a couple of yeses. Yes. Anybody say yes, I can move on. It's going to be just like in class where I wait. Thank you. I don't even know who we got him is. What is your question? "30 seconds to answer the question. Go. I got bored. Okay, so moving on. Then we have, we kind of see at the end of that scene where Hamlet equates, he says, yes, mother, to Claudius. And Claudius is like, father, Hamlet, father, me father, you son. He's like, no. You and my mother are one person now. So you guys are the same person. And so we kind of see that Gertrude, if we were talking about a scale, his dad's up in the heavens, like he is incredible to Hamlet. And then below that, we've got Horatio. Horatio's a trusted friend, a trusted person. Then we've got mom. We've got a lot of conflicts about mom. Mom really hurt us internally. We've got a lot of internal conflict about mom and her actions and what that says for her. Thank you, Ava. Fail. What is what failed? This still doesn't make any sense as to why they're doing that. But thank you, Ava, for the clarification. Okay, so moving on. We see that fall of Gertrude where like Polonius and Claudius are down here. So like Polonius was pretty lowly. He didn't really appreciate Polonius. Ophelia was kind of down there because he felt betrayed. And then we got Claudius all the way in the dirt. Like he might as well be stepping on him. He hates Claudius and he views him as such a low life, terrible, awful human being. And now his mom, after kind of ratting him out and like agreeing to send him off has dropped down to that kind of level for him. And we see that in the way that he kind of equates them, okay? And that's why we have when he lost his mother. Can you guys read these words a little bit? Like, can you see them, or would I have to move you closer in order for you to read them? I know that I'm in the way most of the time, but I'll step back when we get to this. I just want to know if you guys can see this or if you're too far away from it. Okay, perfect. So I might move you guys in a little bit closer here in a moment to let you see. So wait, I thought they were the same. Well, okay, so Lloyd, to clear you up, Gertrude this whole time has been just kind of a couple steps above Claudius because that's his mom. He loves his mom. He had a better expectation for his mom. And we see the difference even when the ghost is talking, like, leave your mother to heaven, let her repent. She did something terrible and she does need to repent. Let God take care of that for me. But take care of Claudius. Definitely go after Claudius. So even his dad has tried to create that division, and Hamlet has kept that division up until Gertrude kind of sided with Claudius and decided to go back to him, go back to his bed, go back to that dirty, nasty thing that Hamlet was like, listen, I'm begging you, you've made mistakes up until this point. You've been in that nasty man's bed. You've bought into his lies. You've allowed him to emotionally manipulate you. You've allowed this relationship to happen, knowing how disgusting and dirty it is. And, you know, it's not too late to step back away from him, to get away from him, to be back here with me, with what my father wanted, with what Denmark was supposed to have, with what's right, with what's not sinful. And she didn't listen, and she betrayed him. So now Claudius and Gertrude in Hamlet's mind are kind of on the same level of kind of just disgust. Does that make more sense, Lloyd? Anybody? Cool. So, am I cool to move on to scene 4? So Hamlet has to assume that happened because Claudius wouldn't know, because the only two people that knew that Polonius was murdered by Hamlet are his mom and him. And with Claudius sending Rosencrantz and Guildenstern after him, and with Claudius saying, your mother and I feel it's best that we send you off, he's got to assume the worst. That good, Emmy? Is that any better? Let me know, Emmy, if that's not clear. I'm going to go ahead and move on. I don't know if your stuff's not loading, but okay, cool. Thank you. So we're going on to scene 4. I know this is taking a long time. I appreciate you being with me. Okay. We've only got a couple more scenes to talk about, and I'm going to move as fast as I can. Okay. So Hamlet runs into Fortinbras. This is where we run into Fortinbras. We're in scene 4 right now. Right. Yep. Yes. Okay. So scene 4, Hamlet runs into Fortinbras, or rather, he runs into Fortinbras's captain. So Fortinbras has sent his captain forward to go and talk to King Claudius, make sure that their passage is safe, and ask Claudius if he needs anything, if he needs Fortinbras to do anything. And his captain's like, aye, sir. And so he moves forward, and Hamlet and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern run into the captain and a little bit of the troops. And Hamlet's like, what are you guys doing? And he tells them, we're going after this worthless piece of land in Poland. And Hamlet's like, so are you just going to go take it? Like, if it's worthless to you and to them, are they even going to defend it? They're like, oh, no, they're going to defend it. So we're going to have this big battle, this big fight over something that's not worth even that couldn't even bear the bodies that we're about to expend and the resources we're about to expend on this land. And Hamlet lets him pass through, and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern right ahead. And Hamlet, we have another soliloquy. We have this overthinking issue again. So Hamlet's like, if you fight for anything, you're fighting for honor, So why fight for something that's worthless? That's a question that we were trying to kind of get at on Tuesday, Wednesday. So why fight for something that's worthless? What's the point? Well, the whole point is fighting for honor, and how Fortinbras and how Hamlet handle grief. So we talked about being a doer and not being a doer. And we talked about Fortinbras and Laertes, they're doers. They get things done. When they feel something or when they have something happen to them, they jump to action. It's almost like the fight or flight response. So they're a fight response. And Hamlet, he's not a doer. He's got a flight response. He needs to overthink and analyze and take things in and jump back and forth and, self-deprecate and just internalize everything and whine and complain. And just kind of keep replanning and building and building and building. And it never gets to, it never comes to fruition. Nothing ever happens. And so this is something that we're finally encountering with Hamlet again. So Hamlet asks about like weakness and cowardice. And he defines himself and determines that he is weak and he is a coward, and he even calls himself out. He says, I have been overthinking. I've been doing this over and over again, and it's prevented me from doing what I have, because all these men are about to go lose their life on a land that could not even bury all of them, on a piece of land that's not worth one man's life. They have way less motivation and passion than I do. We're readdressing that, like he said in another soliloquy. They have way less passion, way less depth than I have, way less motivation to do something, and yet they're going to go do it because of honor. And so who am I? We talk about, and this should be in that packet again, Hamlet kind of talks about like how man, if you just eat, sleep, survive, and you do the human basics just to live and do and be, you might as well be an animal. You could equate yourself to a beast. And so what God intended for us and why God gave us divine choice and all of these thoughts and actions and ability and opportunity to take those out was to make us different from that. So, we got Fortinbras having the willingness to expend all of these resources for such a small or negative gain. And Hamlet, who has more cause than anybody on earth, and his father's suffering and asking of him as a last wish, and he still can't get it done. And that's a huge shame point for Hamlet. He's ashamed of himself and his actions. So God gave us the capability of doing more. I talked about how he calls himself out for the overthinking in that soliloquy. Like he says, I overthink too much, and that's why I've had this pause. So he admits multiple times that he has had multiple opportunities and motives to exact his revenge, and he has. He could have done what Laertes did and just stormed in and just slain Claudius. Whatever, right? And would that have gotten what he wanted in the end? Maybe not, but he still had the opportunity to do that. All these nights and the 2 months that his father was dead, and he was, when he got back, he had opportunity. At the play, when Claudius was praying, he had the opportunity to kill him. When he's standing with Claudius, and Claudius is like, you're going to England, and they're by themselves. Hamlet has a sword. He can take care of him, and he doesn't do it. He just goes, and he's ashamed of himself. And so that's why we kind of have that resolve at the end, those last couple lines where he's saying, if my thoughts are not bloody, if I do not bring these things to fruition, then it's worth nothing. So he resolves that he is going to go back. He's going to take care of business. Final answer, locking it in, Jerry. It's going, So then we move on to the scene with Ophelia, Gertrude, Horatio, Claudius, and Laertes. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anybody confused on anything? Yes, no, maybe so. Type nope if you're not confused, or type a question. One nope. Feels weird not being able to just get an automatic nope from you guys. No questions. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move on. I'm going to keep my eye on that. Okay. So scene 5, Gertrude and Horatio are talking, and Horatio's like, listen, the rumor mill is spinning, and you need to speak to Ophelia. And Gertrude's like, I don't really want to talk to Ophelia. We find out in this scene that what happened is that they've kind of covered up Polonius's death a little bit. They didn't really bury him properly, respect the body properly, have an official ceremony or anything. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. They're trying to, again, they both got big brooms and they're like, off to England you go, sweep it under the rug, get it done. They're just trying to cover things up. And so, yes, I didn't know that, Mr. Souter. We have Ophelia enter in that moment because Gertrude says, okay, I don't want the rumors as much as you don't want the rumors. Because the rumor mill in Denmark, it has been spinning just for a couple of days, though. It's a very short span of time. And so we have Ophelia enter, and she is lost it, absolutely lost her marbles. And some of you guys had questions as to why Ophelia lost her marbles so quick. And so we talked about how Ophelia deals with grief, and we talked about that timeline, if you remember. In about a 24 to 48 hour period, in 2 days, she has been ripped apart emotionally by Hamlet, told that she's a whore, told that she is worthless, told that she's a sinner, told that she should never marry, told that he wishes a terrible reputation, or a laundry list of terrible things that he has said to her. And this is coming from a man that she's in love with, that she really thought that she had a future with. Right before that, she was told that she had to deny him by her brother and her father, more her father than anybody. But that's a painful experience to have to let go of somebody that you love, and then to have that person say, I never loved you. It was all a lie. And whatever concept you had in your head of us being in love, cut it out. So, and then a couple hours later, he's like, can I lay in your lap? He's making all these sexual jokes and advances, and then ripping her down again. And she's like, what is happening? She's already kind of breaking and cracking at that point. If you think about grief that you've experienced, you have a moment where you're just not all together, right? We're all human beings. We kind of break down when we have to deal with these things, right? And so that's Ophelia. And so in that vulnerable state of already kind of not being all together, she gets the news that her dad's dead, and they don't handle it properly. And her brother's off in France. She has literally nobody, and she doesn't know who killed her dad, what happened to her dad. There's no proper burial. And Ophelia just kind of breaks. This is all within a 24-hour, 48-hour period. Can you imagine losing everything that you've ever loved, cared about, or depended on in 2 days? That's a lot. That's really aggressive. Will Hamlet figure that out? We'll find out in Act 5. Laertes does, but we'll get to that. So, she kind of comes in and she's singing, and the two things that she's singing about are about the loss of loved ones or the loss of love. So she's singing about death, or she's singing about love and the loss of love. It's very telling of what broke her. The two things that broke Ophelia were Hamlet's denial of her, and just constant beratement of her, and losing her dad. I mean, look at how Hamlet's dealing with the loss of his dad. Ophelia's doing a little bit worse, in my opinion, but that's okay. She hasn't killed anybody yet, so, and she won't, because she won't herself. But we'll get there. So Claudius sees this, and he's like, she's broken. She is absolutely grief-stricken to the point of just not mentally being there. Brayden, you better read. So we have this moment of Claudius kind of showing us how broken, how he's not in control. He's like, Gertrude, I don't know what to do. The rumor mill is already turning. They're going to blame us. They're going to, come after us in the crown. They're going to come after me specifically. We need to get this under control before Laertes comes in. Rumor mill's already spread, and Laertes is so infuriated, and that's why we call him a doer. Laertes is a doer. He's collected an army like he builds an army and he comes in ready to kill. Like he's ready to annihilate whoever took his dad out. And so Claudius is able to manipulate the situation again and kind of turn things around and calm him down a little bit. But we still see that Laertes has a resolve. Even at the end of that scene, Laertes has a resolve to do something. He's going to get something done. He's like, okay, I'm going to allow you to talk. I'm going to allow you to explain things to me, but that doesn't mean that I'm done here. Like this will be handled. My brother will have a proper burial. I will have his body, and we're going to handle this right. And so they kind of exit and we move on to scene 6. But the importance of this is we're seeing how Ophelia and Laertes grapple with grief. And that's where this kind of comes into play is how do these characters handle grief? How do they cope with grief? What is their lack of coping with grief? We also see that the rumor mill in Denmark is pretty aggressive. And so why does Claudius send Hamlet off to get executed and cover up the fact that Hamlet killed Polonius? Why would he even do that? What's the motive there? Laertes, we talked about him being a doer. We're going to talk about the Venn diagram in just a moment. We see a lot of development in these characters all around. Like we got to see a little tidbit of Laertes and like his caring nature for his sister. And we see that again in this scene where he's heartbroken over his sister and, how her being broken, it kind of tears at him because, hold on, I have a call. Hey, I'm still live streaming. What's up? Oh, I have no idea. I hope so. All right, bye. Sorry about that. I'm back. Okay. So, we have, collecting my thoughts again. Laertes is emotionally torn up about Ophelia and, what she has been going through and how she's not there anymore. Like it's like he's lost his sister. And we talk about loss. And now, later on in the act, she dies. And so Hamlet has not lost his mom yet. If at all, we don't know. Still have Act 5. But I mean, maybe in Hamlet's eyes, Gertrude might as well be dead to him because of how he feels about her being equated to Claudius and how low Claudius is. And so we've got a lot of internal pain on both sides for that. Do we have any questions? Yeah, you better hit the like button. Subscribe. Gasp. Okay, so so I'm gonna finish the lecture hopefully within the next 10 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna upload the quiz and you can do it, and that is all that I'm requiring you to do today. As well as the discussion post, just type a couple sentences on there about how this went and if you enjoyed it or if it was hard for you. I want you to be absolutely transparent and honest with me in the discussion post. Those of you that have not checked in with me yet need to post on that discussion post so that I have proof and evidence that you spoke to me and that you're here with me. That means you, T. Louie. That means you, Dawson. That means you, Connor. Or I'm calling you. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? I don't think that there's any questions. Wait, Maya said wait. Yes, Ophelia dies. Ophelia dies in scene 7 of Act 4. Okay. Bring me a chocolate dip strawberry. Bring me 8. I'm quitting keto until the epidemic subsides. Hi, Miss Perry. You better get on my discussion boards, Miss Perry. Okay, yes, she took a dip in the pool, a trip to the spa. High School Musical reference. So moving on, 6, okay? Super short. We just have Hamlet sending a letter to Horatio saying, hey, I have a lot of juicy information. I was captured by a pirate. I'm on my way back now. I sent these letters to you. I need you to send some to Claudius. And then I'm going to be there and I'm going to let you know everything. It's going to be great. I'm on my way back though. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are still heading to England though. And we talked about how Rosencrantz and Guildenstern's literal only purpose was to get Hamlet to England. And they are on their way to England minus a Hamlet. That is a little confusing. And so we're going to figure out what happens there in Acts 5, but just hold on to that tidbit of information. I'm going to move out of the way just for a minute. And if you guys want to take a picture of this on your phone or whatever, or pause it later and write this down, you can. We're talking about in the middle, they're in the same boat. Haha. They have a dead dad. They want revenge. But the difference is that we have a doer over here. We have a fight response. We have a builds an army, comes to kill regardless. And then eventually in scene 7 formulates a plan with Claudius. And then over here, we have the overthinking as the downfall. Multiple soliloquies talking about that overthinking, contemplating of his own life. There's a motive and passion there, but we don't have any fruition. And there's fear that causes this. Fear is a huge thing. And then we talked about how Laertes loses his sister mentally and then physically. And then how Hamlet's lost his mother emotionally and like in that spiritual way and that connection that he's supposed to have with his mom. The guy that went to spy and get information on Laertes. I mean, I'm not sure about that one. He came back. Laertes came back, and Claudius or Polonius is just never going to know how great his son was or wasn't in France. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Okay, point of that is that we have Rosencrantz and Guildenstern going off in a direction that they're not supposed to be anymore because Hamlet's not with them, and we have this foreshadowing and this ominous feeling that there's something that's going to happen. We have this kind of rising action. We're about to hit a peak in action here. We're about to hit the climax of things and maybe see some resolve in Acts 5. Okay. So I'm going to move on to scene 7. If you have questions, I'll pause, but I'm going to go ahead and trudge along because scene 6 was not that confusing, I don't think. But correct me if I'm wrong or if you need any clarifications. Okay. So in scene 7, last scene that we have to talk about. Yes. Claudius and Laertes are having a talk, and Claudius tells him that Hamlet killed his dad, and that, you know, the reason that I covered up the burial and I did all that stuff, and the reason that all this is kind of out of whack is because if I were to, you know, tell people that Hamlet did it and be honest and everything, they still would side with Hamlet, even though he's a murderer, and then they would have blamed me somehow. He's got this magic touch on people. And if I would have just killed Hamlet, it would have broken his mother's heart, and it still would have been my fault in the eyes of the people. It was just a lose-lose situation, Laertes. But don't worry, because, and he's about to kind of unveil what he's done with this England thing, this letter, but then the person that's supposed to be delivering the letters from Hamlet comes in. And he gets that letter from Hamlet, and Hamlet's like, I'm on my way back. Oh, righteous and great ruler, I'm on my way. Don't you worry. And I have news for you, and I'm going to take care of it. And Claudius is kind of disheveled, and so is Laertes. But Laertes is excited. He says, "Oh, I'm going to get a chance to murder Hamlet. Yes, I'm going to lay my hands on him. I'm going to face him, and I'm going to let him know what he did." And so they devise this plan. Claudius very blatantly, very aggressively manipulates Laertes' emotions. He's like, you know, did you really, like, you know, love your father that much? Are you grieving that much for your father that you want to, you know, exact anything? And Laertes, you know, man's up. Yeah, I'll do it. And so by kind of manipulating that situation emotionally, they devise this plan, and Laertes resolves, without Claudius ever asking him to, that he's going to be the one that kills Hamlet, because Claudius says that he's going to make it look like an accident. It's not going to be, you know, an outright execution or murder. He's going to make it look like an accident to cover himself up. And Laertes is like, well, whatever it is, I want to be the catalyst. I want to be the killer. I want to be the person that takes care of it. And then they come up with this plan that, you know, Claudius says, well, Hamlet was really jealous of you being a manly man and, you know, being able to sword fight so well with your rapier and like being able to have that. And so, he was kind of like talking about how jealous he was and everything. And Laertes is like puffy chested, like, oh, okay, well, I'll fight him. And you know what? We'll sword fight, and I'll put poison on the tip of my blade so that no matter what happens, if I even scratch him, he'll die. And Claudius is like, and you know what? If he can best you, if he can avoid that, I'll have a drink standing by. So that way when he's really hot and he's sweaty and he's tired and you guys take a break, I'll put poison in his drink cup. That way we have two forms that are going to take care of him. It's foolproof. It's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Yzma style, okay? Up until this point, Hamlet has been able to evade every single thing that Claudius has thrown at him. He has been able to kind of know without knowing that Claudius is against him and that, no, we don't know who took the penguin. Yes, it was Caleb Kish. Where's Claudius getting all the poison? The poison factory, poison dealer from the alley behind the castle. All perfect answers, all very plausible ways that Claudius is getting a hold of this poison. Claudius has a lot of, like, he's got a lot of kind of birds in the sky. He's got his own team of people that are on his side. So if he wants to get a hold of something, he's going to get a hold of it, So Claudius has his ways, obviously, of getting a hold of these things, where Laertes is going to do it for him because that's going to be Claudius's scapegoat. Okay, and Laertes did that for him. He did that was light work. He didn't even have to worry about anything. So then we have Gertrude coming in, and she says that Ophelia was, kind of in her manic state in this like lost marbles dimension that she was in, was messing around with some flowers and vines, and ended up falling into a body of water. And with how heavy her clothes were, she drowned. And there was no urgency to get out. There was no urgency for her to save her own life. She just kind of, and that's incredibly sad that she was so grief-stricken and so done with everything that she allowed that to happen. There was no fight left in her. And so she drowned. And what I think is really funny is that Claudius says that, it's to Laertes about his dad. It's okay to grieve. You have every right to grieve. You should be grieving heavily. I'm grieving for your father. It's a right. He deserves all of our grief and all this time. He deserves that. But when he murdered King Hamlet, and Hamlet, his nephew, was mourning, he said, it's unmanly to grieve. How dare you spend all this childish time grieving? You're literally just grieving to be stubborn. It's disgusting, really, and you should be ashamed of yourself. But in this moment, he's fueling Laertes' grief as a manipulation tactic. And then Laertes, in the end, is so overcome with grief that he's crying, and he says, allow me to get through this and let go of this grief. I'm crying for my sister. I've lost everything now. And Claudius follows him out because he says, I calmed him down. No, you ramped him up and you're controlling it. And now you want to ramp him up again with this and control that situation as well. And so that's where we leave out in Act 4, Scene 7. Overall, what questions do we have? Borrowed it from Juliet, probably. Does anybody have any questions as we wrap up? It should be here. It should come back as a video that you can look at retroactively, just like the announcements. That's how it should go. God forbid anything happens, but that's what it should be, McGuire. Do we have any questions other than that? Giving you guys some time to type. Bring me strawberries. So while you guys are typing out questions, if you have any, let me address a couple of things. What's going to happen is the people that are on this chat right now that are in this, that have watched this or that need to go back and watch it, you're going to watch it. Okay? I know that it's long and you can skip through some of my, when I'm, I have to walk away a couple times. I understand that this is nearly an hour. That's about the length of a class period. It's 45 to 50 minutes. I haven't really gone over that a whole lot. And I've smashed 5 periods and 3 days worth of lessons into an hour to wrap things up and make sure that you're ready for your quiz. So in the grand scheme of things, I know this is long in one chunk, but it's really wrapping up all the things that you guys have missed. And I haven't made you do daily assignments. I haven't made you do daily quizzes like other teachers are doing. I'm trying to structure it to be a little bit more free for your life, okay? So I need you to do a couple things for me. Number one, if you've watched this whole stream, you feel comfortable, I need you to go to the quiz. I'm going to upload it as soon as I get off of here. I'm going straight to Canvas. I'm going to upload the Act 4 quiz. It's going to be under the Hamlet module, and it's going to be labeled Hamlet Act 4 quiz, okay? You're going to upload it. It's going to be either a Word document or a Google Doc. I can't remember how it was sent. I think it was a Word doc. So you're going to download your own version of it. You're going to type your answers into it. And then you're going to upload your copy with your answers in it, okay? Absolutely complete, all right? I will grade those as they come in, and I will be on call, on standby with my phone and my email, ready to answer questions for you if need be, okay? I am going to figure out how you guys are going to turn in the quotes packet later on. That's going to be an announcement that I make tomorrow or Friday, okay? That being said, I am going to make another Screencastify video like the NTI videos. I'm going to make one for today. I'm going to wrap everything up, and I'm going to kind of introduce what we're doing tomorrow in case people want to work ahead, okay? Lastly, I need you to go. If you're watching this retroactively or you're watching it right now, I need you to go to Canvas, whether it's before or after your quiz, and answer that discussion post about how this worked for you, whether I need to do something different or this was really great and you appreciate this platform and this worked well for you, okay? The quotes packet, I'm not going to make you turn it in until we have Act 5 done. If you have questions on it or you're not sure, like I said in a previous video, if you're not sure about a certain scene, finding a piece for your prompt that you picked, whatever the case may be, that's when you come and you ask me, okay? But I'm not going to make you turn in pictures or the packet or anything like that until number one, the weekend is over and we figure out what's going to happen with, this whole situation, and number two, until I figure out the timeline for reading Act 5, okay? But there will be a video kind of summarizing things today. Are there any questions about what you're supposed to be doing when you get off of here? Quiz is expected to be done in 24 hours. So by tomorrow, I'll even give you until noon tomorrow. So noon tomorrow, I should have the quiz. If you have extenuating circumstances, home life issues, questions about it, couldn't reach me, family issues, whatever the case may be, please call me or shoot me an email so I know that you're going to be a little bit late. But it should not take you any more than, if you sit down in one sitting, it shouldn't take you any more than a class period, if that, to finish it. The latest that I would even expect it is the end of the week, and that's with like extreme extenuating circumstances. Okay, but please just communicate that with me. Anybody else? Anybody else have any other questions? All right, I'm going to give you a minute to type out a question. I'm going to open up I'm going to try to find the Act 4 quiz and load it up. Don't forget, quiz, discussion post, and if you haven't watched the video, watch it. That's in the beginning as well, so, okay. I for sure will do something for Act 5, whether it's just like this or it's in a different platform. That'll be determined on what you guys write in the discussion post and how you guys feel about this, okay? And how well this worked and how many quizzes get turned in and all that other data that I have to collect. But how soon after the lecture are you going to unlock the quiz? I'm literally, as soon as I log out of this, I'm going to go find it. It should take me no more than 10 minutes to find the quiz in my email and upload it. Anybody else? I really don't want to miss anybody. I feel really awkward just sitting here and staring at a screen. Here, I'll be like Snapchat. Just 4 head pics. Let me give it another minute. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. 71127 is my extension. So please call me if you need anything. The attendance thing for the discussion post, the attendance for today is going onto that discussion post and telling me your feedback. So it's already up right now. It's literally already uploaded on my Canvas. Okay. Call me, email me, call me, beat me if you want to reach me. Kim Possible. Okay. Miss Gelter. So I'm going to be at my desk. I'm literally going to take both my laptops over there and I'm going to get to work. Okay. Call me if you need anything. I love you guys. Have a good day. Make good choices. Do good things in the world. Bye, guys.